Shalom, shalom. Today will be 1 Kings 11 through 15. And sovereign Shelemoths loved many foreign women, in addition to the daughter of Pharaoh, Moabite, Ammonite, Edomite, Sidonian, and Hittite women, from the nations of whom Yahuwah had said to the children of Israel, "You do not go into them, and they do not go into you, for they shall certainly turn away your hearts after their mighty ones." Shelemoth clung to these in love. I'm pretty sure in the last video I was like, this is going great. This is fantastic. Dang it, dude. And he had 700 wives, holy cow, princesses, and 300 concubines. 1,000 women. 1,000. And his wives turned away his heart, and it came to be that Shelemoth was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other mighty ones. Oh no. And his heart was not perfect with Yahuwah his Elohim, as was the heart of his father David. Dang, dude, you did so good. You did so good. And Shelemoth went after Ashtaroth, the mighty one of the Sidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. Thus Shelemoth did evil in the eyes of Yahuwah, and did not follow Yahuwah completely, like his father David. Then Shelemoth built a high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, on the hill that is east of Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. Dang, dude, your daddy just got done. And this is probably another issue with having multiple wives. If you start having multiple children, it's like, how do you interact with them? How often do you think David got to tell him about all the stuff that they did? I mean, I would assume it's all the time. I would love to tell you it's all the time, but if it was all the time, I don't feel like, I don't know, that's a lot of lust in your heart for 1,000 women. And so he did for all his foreign wives, who burned incense and slaughtered to their mighty ones. Therefore Yahuwah was enraged with Shelemoth, because his heart had turned away from Yahuwah Elohim of Israel, who had appeared to him twice, and had commanded him concerning this word, not to go after other mighty ones. Excuse me, I had to burp. Where were we? Not to go after other mighty ones. But he did not guard what Yahuwah had commanded. And Yahuwah said to Shelemoth, "Because you have done this, and have not guarded my covenant and my laws which I commanded you, I shall certainly tear the rain away from you, and give it to your servant. Only I do it in your days only I do not do it in your days, for the sake of your father David. Out of the hand of your son I shall tear it. Only I shall not tear away all the rain, but give one tribe to your son for the sake of my servant David, and for the sake of Jerusalem, which I have chosen." And Yahuwah raised up an adversary against Shelemoth, Hadad the Edomite. He was of the seed of the sovereign of Edom. And it came to be, when David was in Edom, and Joab the commander of the army had gone up to bury the slain, after he had struck every male in Edom, Joab remained there with all Israel for 6 new moons, until every male in Edom was cut off. Then Hadad fled to go to Mitzrayim, he and certain Edomites of his father's servants with him, while Hadad was still a little child. And they arose from Midian, and came to Paran, and took men with them from Paran, and came to Mitzrayim, to Pharaoh sovereign of Mitzrayim, who gave him a house, and ordered food for him, and gave him land. And Hadad found much favor in the eyes of Pharaoh, so that he gave him as wife the sister of his own wife, the sister of sovereigness Taphanes. And the sister of Taphanes bore him Gunabath, his son, whom Taphanes weaned in Pharaoh's house. And Gunabath was in the house of Pharaoh among the sons of Pharaoh. It's pretty interesting. So, more than likely, you'll tell us. And Hadad heard in Mitzrayim that David slept with his fathers, and that Joab, the commander of the army, was dead. And Hadad said to Pharaoh, Let me go to my land. And Pharaoh said to him, But what have you lacked with me, that you are now seeing to go to your own land? And he answered, No, but please let me go. And Elohim raised up another adversary against him, Rezon son of Eliad, who had fled from his master, Hadadezer, sovereign of Sobah, and gathered men to him and became commander over a raiding band when David killed those of Sobah. And they went to Damascus and dwelt there and reigned in Damascus. And he was an adversary to Israel all the days of Shelemoth, besides the trouble that Hadad caused, and he was hostile to Israel and reigned over Aram. And the servant of Shelemoth, Jeroboam son of Nebat, an Ephraimite from Saradah, whose mother's name was Saruah, a widow, also lifted up a hand against the sovereign. Dang! And this is what caused him to lift up a hand against the sovereign. Shelemoth had built Millo, repairing the breaks in the city of David his father. And the man Jeroboam was a brave man, and Shelemoth, seeing that the young man was doing his work well, made him the officer over all the compulsory labor of the house of Joseph. And it came to be at the time when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem that the prophet Ahiah the Shilonite met him on the way, and he was wearing a new garment, and the two were alone in the field. And Ahiah took hold of the new garments that was on him, and tore it into 12 pieces, and said to Jeroboam, Take for yourself 10 pieces, for thus said Yahweh, the Elohim of Israel, See, I am tearing the rein out of the hand of Shelemoth, and shall give 10 tribes to you. So it's not necessarily like he was anything bad happened. It was more like, hey, guess what? You got called. Your number's up. But he shall have one tribe for the sake of my servant David, and for the sake of Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, because they have forsaken me, and bowed themselves to Ashtaroth, the mighty one of the Sidonians, to Chemosh, the mighty one of the Moabites, and to Milcom, the mighty one of the children of Ammon, and have not walked in my ways, to do what is right in my eyes, and my laws, and my right rulings, as did his father David. But I do not take all the reign out of his hand, because I have made him ruler all the days of his life for the sake of my servant David, whom I chose, because he guarded my commands and my laws. And I shall take the reign out of his son's hands, and give it to you, the 10 tribes, and to his son I give one tribe, so that my servant David shall always have a lamp before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen for myself, to put my name there. So I take you, and you shall reign over all that your being desires, and you shall be sovereign over Israel. And it shall be, if you obey all that I command you, and shall walk in my ways, and do what is right in my eyes, to guard my laws and my commands, as my servant David did, then, I feel like we read this last time, then I will be with you and build you a steadfast house, as I built for David, and shall give Israel to you. You know what's also crazy is that Shelemoth built the house of Elohim, like the house of Yahweh. Like, well, bro, you built that. You built that. And they said that the only thing that was in the thing was the 2 stone that was in the ark were the 2 stone tablets. So like nobody passed on the words what it said. I was just like, oh cool, close it up. Anyway. And because of this, I humbled the seed of David, but not forever. And Shelemoth sought to kill Jeroboam, but Jeroboam rose up and fled to Mitzrayim, to Shishak, sovereign of Mitzrayim, and was in Mitzrayim until the death of Shelemoth. And the rest of the acts of Shelemoth, all that he did, and his wisdom, are they not written in the book of the acts of Shelemoth? And the days that Shelemoth reigned in Jerusalem over all Israel was 40 years. And Shelemoth slept with his fathers, and was buried in the city of David his father. And Rehoboam his son reigned in his place. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel had gone to Shechem to set him up to reign. And it came to be, when Jeroboam son of Nebat heard this, he was still in Mitzrayim, for he had fled from the presence of sovereign Shelemoth, and had been dwelling in Mitzrayim. that they sent and called him. And Jeroboam and all the assembly of Israel came and spoke to Rehoboam, saying, Your father made our yoke hard, and now lighten the hard service of your father, and his heavy yoke which he put on us, that then we serve you. And Jeroboam and all the assembly of Israel came and spoke to Rehoboam. Rehoboam was, I don't know, okay, all right, I'm tracking. We're speaking to the now king. Everybody's there. And he said to them, Go away for 3 days, then come back to me. And the people went. And sovereign Rehoboam consulted the elders who stood before his father Shelemoth while he still lived. And he said, What do you advise me to answer these people? And they spoke to him, saying, If you are a servant of these people today, and shall serve them, and shall answer them, and speak good words to them, then they shall be your servants all the days. But he ignored the advice the elders gave him, and consulted the young men who had grown up with him, who stood before him. And he said, What advice do you give? How should we answer this people who have spoken to me, saying, Lighten the yoke which your father put on us? And the young men who had grown up with him spoke to him, saying, Say this to the people who have spoken to you, saying, Your father made our yoke heavy, but you make it lighter on us. Say this to them, My little finger is thicker than my father's waist. And now my father laid a heavy yoke on you, but I add to your yoke. My father flogged you with whips, but I flog you with scourges. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the 3rd day, and as the sovereign had spoken, saying, Come back to me the 3rd day. But the sovereign answered the people harshly, and ignored the advice which the elders had given him. And he spoke to them according to the advice of the young men, saying, My father made your yoke heavy, but I add to your yoke. My father flogged you with whips, but I flog you with scourges. So the sovereign did not listen to the people, for the turn of events was from Yahweh, in order to establish his word which Yahweh had spoken to Ahiah the Shilonite, to Jeroboam of Nebat. And all Israel saw the sovereign did not listen to them. Then the people answered the sovereign, saying, What portion do we have in David? And there is no inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your mighty ones, O Israel. Now see to your own house, O David. So Israel went to their tents. But as for the children of Israel who dwelt in the city of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. And the sovereign Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the compulsory labor. All Israel stoned him. And when sovereign Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the compulsory labor, all Israel stoned him with stones, and he died. And sovereign Rehoboam hastily mounted his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. Thus Israel revolted against the house of David to this day. I can concur to that. And it came to be, when Israel heard that Jeroboam had come back, they sent for him and called him to the congregation and set him up to reign over all Israel. There was none who followed the house of David except the tribe of Judah only. And Rehoboam came to Jerusalem, and he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin, 180,000 chosen brave men to fight against the house of Israel, to bring back the reign to Rehoboam son of Shelemoth. But the word of Elohim came to Shemaiah, the man of Elohim, saying, Speak to Rehoboam son of Shelemoth, sovereign of Judah, and to all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the rest of the people, saying, Excuse me. Thus said Yahweh, Do not go up or fight against your brothers, the children of Israel. Let every man return to his house, for this matter is from me. So they obeyed the word of Yahweh, and turned back according to the word of Yahweh. And Jeroboam built Shechem in the mountains of Ephraim, and dwelt there. And he went out from there, and built Penuel. And Jeroboam said in his heart, Now the reign shall return to the house of David. If these people go up to the slaughterings in the house of Yahweh at Jerusalem, then the heart of this people shall turn back to their master, Rehoboam sovereign of Judah, and they shall kill me, and go back to Rehoboam sovereign of Judah. So the sovereign took counsel, and made 2 calves of gold. Oh, Jesus. Jesus. And said to the people, It is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. See, your mighty ones, O Israel, which I don't even want to say it. I don't even want to say it. Which brought you up from the land of Mitzrayim. Dude. I get your stress. I see where you're like, if they go up there, it's not going to be good. Gosh. And he set up one in Bethel, and the other he put in Dan. And the matter became a sin, for the people went before the one as far as Dan. And he made the house of high places, and made priests for all sorts of people, who were not of the sons of Levi. And Jeroboam performed a festival on the 15th day of the 8th new moon, like the festival that was in Judah. And he offered on the slaughter place. So he did at Bethel, slaughtering to the calves that he made. And at Bethel he appointed the priest of the high places which he made. And he made offerings of the slaughter place which he had made at Bethel on the 15th day of the 8th new moon, and the new moon which he had devised in his own heart. And he performed a festival for the children of Israel, and offered on the slaughter place and burned incense. It's really demoralizing, because you're like, it's gonna keep going. Somebody's gonna pick this up. Somebody's gonna pick this up. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Man, that's rough. That's rough. And see, the man of Elohim went from Judah to Bethel by the word of Yahweh, while Jeroboam was standing by the slaughter place to burn incense. And he cried out against the slaughter place by the word of Yahweh, and said, O slaughter place, slaughter place! Thus said Yahweh, see, a son is to be born to the house of David. Yoshiahu is his name. And on you he shall slaughter the priest of the high places who burn incense on you, and men's bones be burned on you. And he gave a sign the same day, saying, This is the sign which Yahweh has spoken. See, the slaughter place is split apart, and the ashes on it is poured out. And it came to be, when sovereign Jeroboam heard the saying of the man of Elohim, who cried out against the slaughter place at Bethel, that he stretched out his hand from the slaughter place, saying, Seize him! Then his hand, which he stretched out toward him, dried up, so that he was unable to bring it back to him. And the slaughter place was split apart, and the ashes poured out from the slaughter place, and according to the sign which the man of Elohim had given by the word of Yahweh. And the sovereign answered and said to the man of Elohim, Please appease to the face of Yahweh your... Gosh, man. I hate it when they say this. I hate it when they say this. Your Elohim, and pray for me that my hand might be restored to me. And the man of Elohim appeased the face of Yahweh, and the sovereign's hand was restored to him, and became as it was before. I guess he said please, but at the same time, the sovereign then said to the man of Elohim, honestly, you've deceived the whole... You should be stoned. You should be stoned. The sovereign then said to the man of Elohim, Come home with me and refresh yourself, and I give you a gift. Absolutely not. But the man of Elohim said to the sovereign, If you were to give me half your house, I do not go with you, nor do I eat bread, nor drink water in this place. For so he commanded me by the word of Yahweh, saying, Do not eat bread, nor drink water, nor return by the same way you came. So he went another way, and did not return by the way he came to Bethel. And a certain old prophet was dwelling in Bethel, and his sons came and told him all the works that the man of Elohim had done that day in Bethel, the words which he had spoken to the sovereign. And the father said to them, Which way did he go? And his sons had seen which way the man of Elohim went, who came from Judah. And he said to his sons, Saddle the donkey for me. And they saddled the donkey for him, and he rode on it, and went after the man of Elohim, and found him sitting on a terebinth. And he said to him, Are you the man of Elohim who came to Judah? And he said, I am. And he said to him, Come home with me and eat bread. And he said, I am not able to return with you or go in with you, nor am I to eat bread or drink water with you in this place. For word came to me by word of Yahweh, Do not eat bread, nor drink water there, nor return by going the way you came. And he said to him, I too am a prophet like you, and a messenger spoke to me by the word of Yahweh, saying, Bring him back with you to your house, and let him eat bread and drink water. But he lied to him. So he returned back with him, and ate bread in his house, and drank water. And it came to be, as they sat at the table, that the word of Yahweh came to the prophet who had brought him back. And he cried out to the man of Elohim, who came from Judah, saying, Thus said Yahweh, Because you have rebelled against the mouth of Yahweh, and have not guarded the command which Yahweh your Elohim commanded you, and turned back, and ate bread, and drank water in the place which he said to you, Do not eat bread, nor drink water. Your body shall not enter the burial site of your fathers. And it came to be, after he had eaten bread, and after he had drunk, that he saddled a donkey for him, for the prophet whom he had brought back. And he went, and a lion met him on the way, and killed him. And his body was thrown on the way, and the donkey was standing by it, and the lion was standing by the body. I don't know. There's a lot to say here. It doesn't matter what somebody else says. Stop listening to other people. That'll get you killed. Stop listening to other people. That will get you killed. It doesn't matter what they say. If you've been given a mission, you keep your mission. And see, men were passing by and saw the body thrown on the way, while the lion was standing by the body. And they went and reported in the city where the old prophet dwelt. And the prophet who had brought him back from the way heard it, and said, It is the man of Elohim who rebelled against the mouth of Yahweh. And Yahweh gave him to the lion, and it tore him apart and killed him, according to the word of Yahweh which he spoke to him. Rebelled feels like such a strong word. But again, I guess, don't be deceived. Many will come saying, I am he. Many will say that they know him. And they're lying. And he spoke to his son, saying, Saddle the donkey for me. And they saddled it. So he went and found his body thrown on the way, and the donkey and the lion standing by the body. The lion had not eaten the body nor mauled the donkey. And the prophet lifted up the body of the man of Elohim and placed it on the donkey and brought it back. And the old prophet came to the city to mourn and to bury him. And he placed his body in his own burial site. And they lamented over him, saying, Oh, my brother, you did this too. And it came to be, after he had buried him, that he spoke to his son, saying, When I am dead, then you shall bury me in the burial site where the man of Elohim is buried. Lay my bones beside his bones. For the word which he cried out by the word of Yahweh against the slaughter place in Bethel, and against the houses of high places which were in the cities of Shomeron, shall certainly come to be. In this event, Jeroboam did not turn from his evil ways. Probably because the man got him killed. And he's like, oh, look, buddy's dead. I don't have to stop doing what I'm doing. God killed him. But again, he made priests from all sorts of people from the high places. Whoever wished, he ordained to become one of the priests of the high places. And this matter was the sin of the house of Jeroboam, even to cut it off and destroy it from the face of the earth. At that time, Abiah, the son of Jeroboam, became sick, and Jeroboam said to his wife, Please arise and disguise yourself, so they do not know that you are my wife, that you are the wife of Jeroboam, and go to Shiloh. See, Ahiah the prophet is there, who spoke to me of becoming sovereign over this people. And you shall take with you 10 loaves and cakes and a jar of honey, and go to him. Let him declare to you what becomes of the child. And Jeroboam's wife did so, and rose up and went to Shiloh, and came to the house of Ahiah. But Ahiah was unable to see, for his eyes had set because of his age. And Yahuwah had said to Ahayu, See, the wife of Jeroboam is coming to ask you a word about her son, for he is sick. Speak to her thus and thus, for it shall be, when she comes in, that she makes herself strange. And it came to be, when Ahayu heard the sound of her footsteps, as she came to the door, he said, Come in, wife of Jeroboam. Why are you making yourself strange? And I have sent to you, and I have been sent to you with a hard word. Go say to Jeroboam, Thus said Yahuwah, Elohim of Israel, because I exalted you from among the people, and made you ruler over my people Israel, and tore the reign away from the house of David, and gave it to you, and you have not been as my servant David, who guarded my commands, and who followed me with all his heart, to do only what was right in my eyes. But you have done more evil than all who were before you, for you have gone and made for yourself other mighty ones, and molded images to provoke me, and have cast me behind your back. Therefore, see, I am bringing evil to the house of Jeroboam, and shall cut off from Jeroboam every male in Israel, whether shut up or left at large, and swept away the remnant of the house of Jeroboam, as one sweeps away dung until it is all gone. Those of Jeroboam who die in the city, the dogs do eat, and those who die in the field, the birds of the heavens do eat, for Yahuwah has spoken it. And you, arise, go to your house. When your feet enter the city, the child shall die, and all Israel shall mourn for him. And bury him, for he is the only one of Jeroboam who shall come to the burial site, because in him there is found a good report toward Yahuwah, Elohim of Israel, in the house of Jeroboam. And Yahuwah shall raise up for himself a sovereign over Israel, who cuts off the house of Jeroboam this day, and even now. And Yahuwah shall strike Israel as a reed is shaken in the water, and shall pluck Israel from this good soil which he gave to their fathers, and shall scatter them beyond the river, because they made their Asherim provoking Yahuwah. And he shall give Israel up, because of the sins of Jeroboam, who sinned, and who made Israel sin. And the wife of Jeroboam rose up and went and came to Tirzah. When she came to the threshold of the house, the child died, and they buried him. And all Israel lamented for him according to the word of Yahuwah, which he spoke through his servant Ahiyahu the prophet. And the rest of the acts of Jeroboam, how he fought and how he reigned, see, they are written in the books of the annuals of the sovereign of Israel. And the days that Jeroboam reigned was 22 years. So he slept with his fathers, and Nadab his son reigned in his place. Meanwhile Rehoboam, son of Shelemoth, reigned in Judah. Rehoboam was 41 years old when he became sovereign, and he reigned 17 years in Jerusalem, the city which Yahuwah had chosen out of all the tribes in Israel, to put his name there. And his mother's name was Naamath the Ammonitess. And Judah did evil in the eyes of Yahuwah, and they provoked him to jealousy with their sins, which they committed, more than all their fathers had done. That's crazy. For they also built for themselves high places and pillars and asherim on every high hill and under every green tree. And there were also cult prostitutes in the land. They did according to all the abominations of the nations which Yahuwah disposed before the children of Israel. And it came to be in the 5th year of sovereign Rehoboam that Shehak, sovereign of Mitzrayim, came up against Jerusalem, and he took away the treasures of the house of Yahuwah. Gosh, we're like, your kids lost it, bro. David's grandkids lost it. And the treasure of the sovereign's house, he took away all the shields of gold which Shelemoths had made. And sovereign Rehoboam made shields of bronze to replace them, and entrusted them into the hands of the chiefs of the guard, who guarded the entrance of the sovereign's house. And it came to be, whenever the sovereign went into the house of Yahuwah, the guards would bring them, then take them back into the guard room. And the rest of the acts of Rehoboam and all that he did, are they not written in the book of annals of the sovereigns of Judah? And there was fighting between Rehoboam and Jeroboam all the days. So Rehoboam slept with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David. And the name of his mother was Naamath the Ammonitess. And Abiam, his son, reigned in his place. And in the 18th year of the sovereign Jeroboam, son of Nebat, Abiam became sovereign over Judah. He reigned 3 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Maacah, the granddaughter of Absalom. And he walked in all the sins of his father, which he had done before him, and his heart was not perfect to Yahuwah his Elohim, as was the heart of his father David. For David's sake, Yahuwah his Elohim gave him a lamp in Jerusalem to raise up his son after him by establishing Jerusalem. So David did what was right in the eyes of Yahuwah, and did not turn aside from all that he commanded him all the days of his life, except in the matter of Uriah the Hittite. That was his only stumbling block. And there was fighting between Rehoboam and Jeroboam all the days of his life, and the rest of the acts of Abiam, and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Judah? And there was fighting between Abiam and Jeroboam. So Abiam slept with his fathers, and they buried him in the city of David, and Asa his son reigned in his place. And in the 20th year of Jeroboam's reign of Israel, Asa became sovereign over Judah, and he reigned 41 years in Jerusalem, and his grandmother's name was Maacah, the granddaughter of Absalom. So we're 6 generations in, basically. And Asa did what was right, or, I think so, in the eyes of Yahuwah, and his father David, as his father David had done, and put away the cult prostitutes from the land, and removed all the idols that his father had made. And he also removed Maacah, his grandmother, from being sovereigness mother, because she made an abominable image of Asherah. And Asa cut down her abominable image and burned it by the Wadi Kidron. But the high places were not removed. However, Asa's heart was perfect with Yahuwah all his days. And he brought into the house of Yahuwah the set-apart items of his father, and his own set-apart items, silver and gold and utensils. And there was fighting between Baal and Baasha, sovereign of Israel, all their days. And Baasha, sovereign of Israel, came up against Judah and built Ramah to keep anyone going out or coming into into Asa, sovereign of Judah. And Asa took all the silver and gold that was left in the treasuries of the house of Yahuwah and the treasuries of the sovereign's house, and gave them into the hand of his servants. And sovereign Asa sent them to Ben-Hadad, sovereign of Tambrimam, son of Hezion, sovereign of Aram, who dwelt in Damascus, saying, Let there be a covenant between you and me, as there has been between my father and your father. Look, I have sent you a present of silver and gold. Come, break your covenant with Baasha, sovereign of Israel, so that he withdraws from me. And Ben-Hadad, instead of listened to sovereign Asa, and sent the commanders of his armies against the cities of Israel, and struck Ion and Dan and Abel Baeth Maacah, and all the Kinneroth, with all the land of Naphtali. And it came to be, when Baasha heard it, that he stopped building Ramah and remained in Tirsah. Then sovereign Asa summoned all Judah, none was exempted, and they took away the stones and timber of Ramah, which Baasha had used for building, and with them sovereign Asa built Geba of Benjamin and Mizpah. And the rest of all the acts of Asa and all his might, and all that he did, and the cities which he built, are they not written in the books of the annals of the sovereign of Judah? But in the time of his old age he was deceased in his feet. And Asa slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David his father. And Jehoshaphat his son reigned in his place. And Nadab, son of Jeroboam, became sovereign over Israel in the 2nd year of Asa, sovereign of Judah, and he reigned over Israel 2 years. And he did evil in the eyes of Yahweh, and walked in the ways of his father, and in his sin by which he made Israel sin. Then Baasha, son of Ahiah, of the house of Issachar, conspired against him, and Baasha struck him at Gibbethon, which belonged to the Philistines, for Nadab and all Israel had laid siege to Gibbethon. And Baasha killed him in the 3rd year of Asa, sovereign of Judah, and reigned in his place. And it came to be, when he became sovereign, that he struck all the house of Jeroboam, He did not leave to Jeroboam anyone breathing until he had destroyed him, according to the word of Yahweh which he had spoken to his servant Ahiah the Shilonite. Because of the sins of Jeroboam which he had sinned, and by which he had made Israel sin, because his provocation with which he had provoked Yahweh Elohim of Israel, and the rest of the acts of Nadab, and all that he did, are they not written in the book of annals of the sovereign of Israel? And there was fighting between Asa and Baasha, sovereign of Israel, all their days. In the 3rd year of Asa, sovereign of Judah, Baasha son of Ahiah became sovereign over Israel and Tirsah, and reigned 24 years. And he did evil in the eyes of Yahweh, and walked in the way of Jeroboam, and all his sins which he had made Israel sin. Again, this is just crazy. I just wonder what it's like, in that time frame. It's like, dang, dude, it wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that long ago. I mean, it was. I couldn't tell you what happened 500 years ago, per se. Right? But, I don't know. I don't, what do I know? I don't know nothing at all. I wasn't there. I don't know nothing at all. But, I do know. We're going to do another one tomorrow. And as always, may Yahuwah bless you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. Yahuwah lift up his face upon you and give you peace. Thus they shall put my name on the children of Israel, and I myself shall bless them. Shalom, shalom.